Jim Penniston and John Burroughs both began suffering from physical ailments after their encounter in the forest. Ailments which did not exist prior to joining the Air Force, but ailments which began almost immediately after exposure to the craft in the forest. These ailments have persisted in both men to this day. In 2011, I began assisting both gentlemen in propounding Freedom of Information Act requests on the Central Intelligence Agency, National Security Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, Department of the Air Force, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, via the Department of Defense, Air Force Office of Special Investigations, and the Department of Veterans Affairs. All of the previously listed divisions of our government responded to our inquiries for information regarding John and Jim by essentially saying they had nothing on file about them. The one exception is the CIA's response, which was the most frustrating of them all, by their stating that they could neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of records responsive to our request. In other words, none of the governmental entities we contacted, those we just named, even the Air Force, seemed to know anything about a John Burroughs or a Jim Penniston, despite the fact that we're all fairly certain they served in the United States Air Force for many years. We have repeatedly sought to obtain the medical records of John's and Jim's through FOIA requests, but have yet to succeed. John's physicians in particular have requested his service medical records, especially those related to what it was he and Jim came into contact with in the forest. They have requested this information time and time again from John in order to provide the best chance to treat his medical problems, which have at times been life-threatening. We even enlisted the help of a former senator from John's home state of Arizona, but still did not get anything other than learning that the Veterans Administration has a classified records section, which is where we now believe John's medical records to be. Senator John McCain's office is assisting us, but the final result of Senator McCain's help we do not know as of this date. In closing, I want to say that in December of 1980, I was thousands of miles away from Rendlesham Forest studying in college. I was completely unaware of the incident. I was completely unaware of these gentlemen. It would not be but for another 28 years in 2008 that I would first encounter that incident and become aware of it. But once I learned of their story, I felt compelled to assist them however I could, as this was an event of tremendous fascination, importance, and one with casualties too. It has been cowardly the way their requests for medical records and the like have been rejected using excuses like we have no records responsive to your request or the requested records are no longer under our purview. Nevertheless, we continue undaunted in our search for these gentlemen's medical records so that their physicians may properly treat them. As John Burroughs once said to me, Jim and I have been left behind on the battlefield of the Cold War. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much for the both of your testimonies.